We do meet twice a month. And so I want to say thank you for joining us. We do have some invited guests, and hopefully you'll be joining us on a consistent basis. I Vote Our Voice is a non-partisan, nonprofit organization that's focused on registering voters, educating them, and mobilizing them to get out to vote. And so that's where we exist. That's what we're focused on. We're a coalition of organizations all over the state of Texas. And so we're really excited about this work. And as you know, we have less than 50 days till election day, and early voting starts even sooner than that in Texas. And so I'm going to call a meeting to order, just give a couple of updates. And I've invited special guest, Brandon, with 2 million Texans, to talk about an app that we're partnering with them working on, and hopefully your organization will too, known as the Reach Out. And so this week is an important week in the state of Texas. The NAACP is hosting a statewide day of action where all of our units all over the state of Texas, as well as our partner organization, Divine Nine, Masons, Eastern Stars, 100 Black Men, 100 Black Women, and so many other organizations all partnering with us to get out in the streets this weekend. We're asking everyone to wear your shirts. If you're part of, we got churches that are participating, so wear your, church paraphernalia. If you're a member of fraternity or sorority, wear that. Member of NAACP, wear that. And we're going to get out in the streets, and we're asking everyone to do one of three things. One, voter registration drive. Two, a virtual phone bank. Or three, actual block walking. And we're going to get out and let people know that an election is coming up, and making sure that they are registered and they have all the information that they need. And so looking forward to having a great event this weekend. And that's really my biggest update. There'll be opportunity. The agenda is posted in the chat. We will be following the agenda pretty close. So at this time, I've invited Brandon, as I spoke about, to be a special guest. Brandon's going to talk just to kind of whet your appetite about this app that the NAACP and so many other organizations are using to reach out. And so, Brandon, if you will, you can unmute yourself. And thank you for joining us today. And our vote is our voice. There you go.
All right, sorry about that, guys. I just wrapped up doing a reach training just a minute ago. So it's fresh in my mind, and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing here at 2 Million Texans. We're 2 Million Texans. We are going across Texas, myself and a whole bunch of organizers, and we're talking to people about relationship organizing. Relationship organizing is a new tool in your toolbox that you've already been using. It's just basically activating your friends and family and making sure they're going to go vote. And how we do that is that we use our Reach app. And our Reach app is like a cool app that you use to look through your own personal contacts and find out if they have voted. Because we always take for granted that the people that we know are going to go vote because we think they're as passionate as us. You always think, oh, well, my cousin's going to vote because, I'm always in the ear and they said they're going to vote, so they definitely going to vote. Or, Miss Nancy across the street, you think she's going to go vote. Or you think, your wife or husband are going to go vote, but, they don't have the time sometimes because so much work. So it's on us to make sure that we activate them and remind them to go vote. And that's how we do it at Reach. What Reach does is that you will download your app, it will sync with your contacts, and then it'll give you a cheat sheet. It will literally say, oh, here's my cousin Ray Ray. Cousin Ray. It'll bring up his actual legal name. You know it because he's your cousin, not my cousin. You will select that legal name, and then it will give you a quick, this person has voted. This person hasn't voted. This person didn't vote in the last midterm. And then it's on you to be like, hey, let me call you real quick. Man, I saw you didn't vote in the midterms. What happened? And they're going to be like, oh, man, I thought I thought somebody else was gonna vote, or I forgot because election day came so quietly that I worked all day and it slipped on by me. That's how we're gonna get those votes we need to flip Texas and make it blue. Is that we got to make sure that the people that want to vote, or the people that say go vote, actually vote. And that's what Reach is there for. It's to give you that cheat sheet to find the right family members, cousins, friends that said they're going to vote, but didn't get that chance last time, and ensuring that you're giving them that reminder that they go vote. I'm going to pause right there, guys, to see if you have any questions about Reach.
I was just putting in the chat if anyone has any questions. Now, we know our goal as a nonpartisan organization is to have maximum voter turnout. And so if we have maximum voter turnout, we can make sure that things are different in Texas. And as a nonpartisan organization, that's as far as we're going to go. So if you have any questions for Brandon, like I say, he's not doing a full presentation. Brandon's going to talk about all of the trainings that they do, but I wanted him to come on. This is a great tool that we can use real simple in order to get our friends and our neighbors and our family members out to vote. So if you have a question for Brandon, and it's not a whole lot of us on here, you can unmute and you can ask your question. And you may have done a better job than I thought. Brandon, if you would, tell us about the trainings that are taking place and just a quick overview of how the app works.
Absolutely. So guys, we have a standing training every single day at 7 p.m. if you would like to get trained yourself. If that doesn't work for you or your members, you could just reach out to me. Casey, if you can drop my email in there. I'm sorry, I'm in the car, so I can't do it. No we can set up a special time just for you guys, just for you and your members. Just to give you just a little more background on like how the app itself works, it's literally just like I said before, guys. Like once you download Reach, it will ask you to make a profile. You make a profile by your number. It will send you a text to get you in, and then it will ask you to sync up your contacts. And then from there, it'll ask you if these are the right people for your contacts. You will tell yes, and then it will give you if they voted or didn't vote. At no point in time does Reach ever take your information from you. It gives you the information. It gives their information to you. Like nobody on my side or nobody in DC or anywhere will see any of your contacts, but it will tell you what they've done, and then they'll ask you to reach out to those people. Dr. Levels, you have a question. I see your hand up.
Yes, good afternoon. My question is, knowing I'm more familiar with the VAN system. So what is this? How does this compare to VAN? Maybe Councilman Thomas can answer that since he knows VAN.
Yes, ma'am. No, I got you.
Okay, thank you.
In my past, I have been a VAN wizard. So I got you. So VAN is a voter activation network. So what's the big difference between VAN and Reach is that when you're using VAN, you are going into just a voter file and reaching out to that person in that voter file. The big difference of what Reach in that voter file is going to be is that, like, for Reach, you know those people in your phone, and you have a personal connection to those people in your phone. So as opposed to someone doing a random phone bank or a random canvas knocking at the door, they're gonna have you, Dr. Levels, calling them, and Dr. Levels called me. She reminded me that I need to go vote. Or, if they even closer to you, that if they call you by your nickname or you call you by your first name, she reminded me to go vote. I'm gonna go vote because she reminded me. I'm gonna go vote because I know she can get on my behind about it if I don't go vote. Because they already know they know that you know that they haven't voted. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. So provide you like mailing labels? Will they produce the same way as Van, or is that something you have to transfer that data into another Excel spreadsheet or something to create, list and mailing addresses, those types of things? Phone banks. Does Reach create
Got
a
you.
phone bank?
So it can, but only out of your contact. It'll give you like it can give it to you that way. It's not trying to replace Van. It's just trying to give you a personal tool to let you know who you need to talk to make sure they go vote. So it's not trying to replace Van. Like Van has so many amazing things. It's just trying to be another tool that you can just use on your phone, because it'll give you a script. It'll give you a texting script. It'll give you a phone-based script right there in that app. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Levels. Anyone else have any questions for Brandon regarding the Reach app? I put Brandon's email address in the chat if anyone would like to follow up with him. As he said, they do trainings every Monday through Friday at least. I don't know about the weekends, but Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. And so anyone that's interested can just jump on and they will actually show you how. I've done this about 3 times. I've done 1 full training and 2 abbreviated trainings. I'm in the process of going through all of my contacts and uploading them so I can be able to utilize this app. It's a very, very effective tool. Very effective tool. Anybody else have any questions for Brandon? All right, I'm gonna see any more hands. Brandon, thank you. If you want to stick around, feel free. Otherwise, you're free to jump off.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm literally about to hop into another training. So if you guys need me, you have my email. If you feel like you need to call or text me, get my phone number from Councilman Thomas. It's not a secret. Anyone can call me at any time. If I don't answer, I'm gonna definitely text you back. Thank you guys for taking this time to listen to me. And go.
Hey.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Hey, thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it. Next, we're going to follow the agenda pretty close. I don't see Eric Wilson, but I do want to say this about voter registration. I'm asking everyone who's doing any kind of voter registration, if you would like, Our Vote is Our Voice will be doing follow-up. One of the things that we have not done a really good job of, we go out and we do a lot of voter registration, but we're not doing a good job of getting that information back. I've let Eric Wilson, our voter registration coordinator, know. Anyone that's doing voter registration through Our Vote is Our Voice, please send that information to Eric. Anybody that's doing it through Candace Wicks, please send that information to Candace. They're gonna send it to me. We're gonna put a spreadsheet together. We're seeking funding. If we're fortunate enough to get the funding, we're going to hire a follow-up coordinator. Their job is gonna be simply to take the information of all the newly registered voters and have individuals, they'll be responsible for following up with them, letting them know when the election is, letting them know where early voting is, all of that. We don't wanna take any chance. We wanna be intentional about making sure all of these new registered voters actually have all the information they need in order to get to the polls. And so, like I said, I don't see Eric right now. And so I did want to make, that statement. Let's make sure that we collect all the information, get it to, Candace or get it to Eric. They're going to get it to me. We're going to put it in a spreadsheet and we're going to get it to our follow-up coordinator. So at this time, since Eric is not here, we do have our voter education coordinator, Ben Jackson. Ben, good to see you. If you would, just unmute yourself.
Thank you, Brother Councilman Thomas. I appreciate everything. Good evening, everyone. Let me pull up my PowerPoint, which my computer is acting slow. The other day, I was at the University of North Texas with the NAACP and a fraternity organization, and they were talking about the voter education and trying to educate those students around voting. One of the windows of opportunity that I took away from that was, one, a lot of students up in Denton that go to attend the University of North Texas, one, aren't registered in Denton County. And so that's a window of opportunity. And then a lot of the students are not educated on the process. They don't know what we're voting on or what the election is all about. So it's very important during this season of time, one, that we are working on voter registration, which is important all the way up until October the 11th, 2022. But then we got to start this education piece, which we're behind on, educating people about, and not only students at University of North Texas, people within our organization, and also people who are in our organizations that we serve, in the communities that we serve. We got to start talking about what do these particular offices do. And so that's what I wanted to do today, is talk about a couple of statewide elections, if my computer will allow me to be great. I want to go over that. And then when we come back after 2 weeks, we're going to talk about important issues. Follow up with Councilman Thomas spoke on earlier. Okay, good. Good. This is not. Did it all work? No, it didn't. Good. Excellent. Okay, let me get started. Can I share my screen? Is that possible? No one should be going, and that's the piece of it. First, we got to educate the people on what they're voting on. And then we're going to have a season where we're going to tell people pulling sample ballots, and we have to show them, how do you pull your sample ballot? And so when you come to meetings like this, we should be talking about those ideas, taking down notes. And when you go back to your particular networks, the organizations you serve in, these are some of the ideas you should be instituting in those particular spaces. Is one, we got to start talking about these positions and what they do. And then also start teaching people and showing people, how do you pull a sample ballot starting, which really should start, I believe, 30 days before the election. Sample ballots should be ready. So I want to say around October the 8th, sample ballots should be ready for people to start pulling down, and then partner with the League of Women Voters by either getting the guide or that QR code. And that way you can remove the excuses of people saying that they don't know what these people stand for. We're going to give them 30 days to get the information and then be able to go from there. But let me start with sharing real quick. I got an old computer, so y'all have to bear with me. There we go. Are you all able to see my screen?
It's twirling.
Looks like it's loading.
Okay, pray for me. Let me know when y'all ready. All right, it's good. Excellent. So Texas elections, it starts, what we're trying to do is make sure we encourage people to early vote. 2 weeks, anywhere in the county that you're registered, you can go take your driver's license and go early vote. Those are the dates that we're promoting. We're not promoting election day because we know the communities that we serve needs time. And we want to give them all the time in the world. And we want to spread the word that you can vote anywhere in the county that you're registered. If you live in South Dallas and work in North Dallas, if there's a polling place in North Dallas, then by all means, you can vote there. If you live in North Dallas and work downtown, there's a polling place. All you need is your driver's license. And the driver's license needs to say, that's who I am, and that's it. The address does not have to match. And you tell them that's my address, and you can cast your vote. So we want to remove obstacles from people and also tell them that you can take your sample ballot into the polling place. So we want, you can be in and out. You already know who you're going to vote for. It's tailored for your ballot. And these are the things we want to start encouraging people when they get ready to vote. Early voting starts October 24th to November the 4th, and then the election day is November the 8th. What's on the ballot? So on our agenda, what I want to talk about this week, we're going to talk about statewide elections and responsibilities. We got to start pushing state house and state senate districts. I do understand that we are voting on Congress, United States Congress people throughout the entire state of Texas. I do understand that we have district attorneys and there are other races that are on the ballot, but really this election is really a state referendum of what went on in Austin 2 years ago. And we're going to send a message to the people down there. How do we like the legislation and the policies that came out 2 years ago? So when we were talking to people, whether it's people that we serve, people that we work with in our networks, make sure it's not about President Biden. It's not about his policies or anything like that. This is strictly about people that represent us down in Austin. We need to send a message to those people to let them know, do they represent our values and our views and the policy and what our people, our vote, our voice, and ensuring that we need to get our communities that we serve out to vote. And it's very important that this election is all about Austin and what goes on in Austin and who represents you. So in the coming weeks, we're going to talk about important issues and topics. We're going to get down to the dates, and then we got to definitely talk about the numbers and the drop off in the elections. Let's start with our first one, the governor. Now, the governor of Texas, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, and once I clean this up a little bit, I want you to take this PowerPoint. When you go to the networks that you serve, we need to talk about this. Everybody doesn't know what the governor does. The governor of Texas is the chief executive state elected by the citizen every 4 years. Every 4 years, we go to the election, we go to midterm elections and we elect the governor. Some of the important pieces we need to start telling people that the governor could convene a special session, a legislature for specific purposes. Let's say what happened in Uvalde. We're talking about emergencies that come up. The governor is the only one that can call a special session for them to deal with issues such as raising the age on gun violence. Or if he has a session on mental health, deal with that issue, or any other issue of importance of an emergency, the governor is the only one that's able to call it. The governor is able to grant reprieves and commutations of punishments and pardons on recommendations of the board of parolees. When you talk about people who are innocent that are on death row, that fits on the governor's desk, whether that person dies or not, if he's able to commit that sentence or allow that person to die. And then also, one of the things that many people don't know, there are over 1,500 boards, state boards, that the governor is appointed to. So when we talk about a particular philosophy, a political philosophy, whether he likes service, when we talk about the communities that we serve and their thoughts, and are they considered? When you put somebody over these 1,500 offices, it's going to reflect that political philosophy of your governor. And if you're not participating in the races, then you're going to find out who's ever over the TEA, who's ever over the State Board of Education, who's ever chairing these particular boards is going to have the same mindset of whoever the governor of Texas is. When you start talking about the grid, and we looked at those people who are over the grid and who regulates that entity and that agency, that person who chairs that board is appointed by the governor. So the governor has a lot of power that many people aren't aware of. And it's important that we start bringing these incidents that we remember when the grid shut down and so many people died and so many people had mental health because they were stuck in their homes and they still haven't fixed it. When we talk about the Black man that was almost on death row as well, I forgot his name, and he was up and everybody was writing all these letters, signing all these petitions and everything. You don't have to sign a petition. What you should do is get out here and go vote for your governor to ensure that he understands and he has the philosophy and the political persuasion that you want him to have. So that's the governor of Texas. And so we have to make that connect for people to understand who is our governor of Texas and why you should be making sure that you're casting the vote for the governor of Texas. Let me push because I don't want to be out there. Lieutenant Governor of Texas, one of the positions that we really don't discuss, one of the things that many people are not aware of, the Texas Lieutenant Governor is just like the Vice President of the United States. We have a Vice President over the state of Texas, and that is our Lieutenant Governor. In statutory, which is in the building of the Texas government, he's the one who can serve on as a member or even a joint chair over 70 boards and commissions. The Lieutenant Governor is also over the Texas Senate. He is the one who presides over the Texas Senate. He succeeds the governor in case of a vacancy. He also votes in the Senate when there's a tie. He also votes on questions in the Senate committee as a whole, and he's also a member of the Redistricting Board of Texas. So the Lieutenant Governor is the one that sets the agenda for the Texas Senate. And a lot of people are not aware of what the Lieutenant Governor does and the power he holds by setting that when the special sessions happen, dictating what will be on the agenda and what will not be on the agenda. So it's very important that we start talking about the lieutenant governor and the power that he holds. Next. Texas Attorney General. Now, this is the main top attorney, top cop over the state of Texas. And he's elected to duly elected by the laws providing legal representation of the state. A lot of people are aware of the Texas Attorney General for those who have child support orders. They see his name signed on that child support order as well. And also securing the justice for Texas, protecting the Texans against waste, fraud, abuse, safeguarding the Texas guaranteed by the United States and Texas Constitution. The Attorney General is the one that's going to enforce the laws of the land. And you have to ensure that this is the one that you want to represent you when it comes to access to health care for women in the state of Texas. Either he can go in and sue to say they have access, or he can go in, or he or she can go in and have an opposing viewpoint when certain laws are passed by the United States Supreme Court. And so the Attorney General has a lot of power when it comes to representing the citizens of Texas. And right now, currently, as you see with so many laws that are coming out of the Supreme Court, you can see the Attorney General can go out and sue the United States or not necessarily reflect the views and the values of the communities that we serve. So that's the Texas Attorney General. Texas Agriculture Commissioner is very important. And a lot of times, these are the races that we're not familiar with. It's not highlighted in the news as much, but this is the one that's over the agricultural crops. We're talking about foods. We're talking about pesticides, what's appropriate to use on our foods or not. Also facilitates trade and marketing when it comes to agricultural commodities, ranging from the livestock crops to ensure Texas remain a national leader around cattle, sheep, wool, goats, and all these other livestock. The State Commissioner of Agriculture is responsible for more than just farming and food production for the state. They also oversee forestry, pest control, food safety, and other state agricultural events. One of the things I found interesting about the Agricultural Commissioner currently in the state is that when the African-American farmers sued the United States to get reparations because they were locked out of certain loans and business assets, the Texas Agricultural Commissioner blocked the payment of them going to the Black farmers because he felt like it was discriminatory against the other farmers who weren't getting such payments. So when we talk about these nuances of these particular offices, we really have to make a connect to people. And we have Black farmers out here who were denied the right to get certain loans, get certain help to help with their farms and lost their farms. But then here it is, you have a representative who felt like that these Black farmers shouldn't get all of this money because it's discriminatory against other farmers who weren't able to get the same access or weren't able to get a payout because their farms didn't do well as well. All right. State House representatives, very important. One of the things that we're not talking about, there are over 150 people from different districts all over Texas who go to the State House and it's one part of the legislative body for the state of Texas. And I think this part is an underserved piece when we start talking about going out. Who represents you in the House, and do you know your districts? Which district do you live in? The duties of the legislature includes considering proposed laws, they create resolutions, constitutional amendments, and they represent your particular districts and try to get appropriations when it comes to the budget and bringing that back to your homes and where those monies are allocated with the state budget. And there are 150 people. And just because I live in District 103, Raphael Anchia is my representative, does not mean the other 149 do not represent me as well. They all represent you. Because if 149 people say this is the way the state of Texas is going to move, and it's contradictory to my belief, then that means I'm in trouble. If all these people come out with voter suppression laws, and I can't just be worried about my particular representative, we have to be worried about who else is representing us down in the State House. So it's important if we have family in East Texas, as you have family in South Texas, we have to start talking about who represents us in the House of Representatives. These people are elected every 2 years. Every 2 years they're running. So they're running this year. In 2 years, when we go to vote for a president, they're running again. It's something that is not being brought up in the communities that we serve, and we got to start talking about our state representatives in those particular districts. And are we sending people down there to represent us and the communities that we serve? And are they a voice for the people of the communities that we serve? The regular session begins every second Tuesday, every odd year. So next year they convene, and they convene for 140 days. And in those 140 days, they'll dictate the law of the land for the next 2 years. And a lot of people don't know that about the state of Texas, that they convene for 140 days unless the governor calls a special session over certain issues he deems is important. And then they go back for another 30 days to pass that legislation or not pass that legislation. And then next, state senators. They run every 4 years. There are 31 people all across the state of Texas who are in the state Senate. The duties of the state senators are similar to those of the House of Representatives as well. They come up with proposed laws and amendments for the submission of voters and the appropriation of a budget for the state government. They enact and amend laws. Some of the things that's different about the state Senate is they approve or deny appointments made by the governor. So anytime that those commissions that we talked about, those 1,500 boards, they can approve or deny whether that person gets that appointment or not. And so it's a twofold thing. If we're not voting for our state senators and ensuring those people represent the communities that we serve, then that's where we're losing the battle. When you start talking about people getting appropriated to the who's over the grid, when you start talking about the TEA, when you start talking about curriculum for our students and what they're learning, so many different agencies are being appointed, and they are the ones who confirm them. And there are 31 people all across these 254 county state, and they run every 4 years, and they're up for re-election at this time. So these are just a few of the elections. We're going to come back next week. Next time Our Voice, Our Vote meets, and we're going to start talking about other particular races as well. And once I clean this PowerPoint up, I will share it with you all. When you go to your fraternity meetings, when you go to your sorority meetings, when you go to whatever network you're in, we got to start talking to the people, and we can't take for granted that they know the information, because a lot of people who we work with don't know. And we got to inundate them with this information so they become educated on the issue. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, Millie. Amen to everyone. You are saying, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay.
Great job.
Thank you, ma'am. I need you to help me clean it up. It's happening next week. I need to post about other people on the Facebook group. Ben, I think you would. You love to chat with you. Cool. I'll do that. Millie, we could talk. And we got to take the show on the road. Are you available this Thursday afternoon? Thursday, I will be in DC. I'm going to CBC this coming weekend. So unfortunately, I will not be available. But next week, I have time on my calendar, and I will be available to present. Okay. That's my job for today. And next time we come back up, y'all, we got to start talking about important issues and making them connect to the positions we talked about. I talked about the Black farmers and them not getting paid, all because of the Agriculture Commissioner of Texas. These are the issues we got to start highlighting. When you talk about the governor, do you agree or did you not agree when we talked about the mask mandates? You got to start bringing back up issues that people remember. When we talked about the grid and the grid going down and the grid not getting fixed. And then now they're talking about the cost of natural gas is going up. And do you agree with that or not? You know, when you start talking about the State Board of Education, we're going to go over those positions as well. What is their position? What do they do? And we're going to start inundating with folks. We got to find a graphic artist who can put this in little memes. You know how you read a story and you just slide and just read? If we could start inundating that in social media, this would be a good way so people have the knowledge Once we show them how to pull a sample ballot, what does this position do, and how it connects to their lives, then you'll see why people have become more educated and be willing to vote because they know what they're voting on. And it's so important. We don't have that much time, but we've got to start inundating people with the education piece. And then hopefully something we said or done will trickle and motivate them to want to get out there and go vote because they understand that their vote is their voice. All right, I'm done.
Hey, Ben, before I turn it over to Crystal, excellent presentation. I want to make sure everyone knows next week, starting Monday through Friday, is National Voter Education Week. There is a website called nationalvotereducationweek.org. That website has activities for every day as it relates to voter education. Ben, I think I sent you that link, and if you're up to it, each day you can post on the I Vote Our Voice Facebook page something about what that day is related to, be it checking your voter registration status, planning your vote, things of that nature. So I'll make sure, Ben, if you don't have that link, I get it to you. And every day we want to make sure members of our group know it's something we can do around voter education every day for next week.
Are you able to post that link in the chat?
Yep, I'll post it there shortly.
Okay.
Right. Crystal, you can go ahead and moderate the rest of the meeting.
There you go.
Okay, so on the agenda, do we have Ruben on the agenda? I mean, is Ruben present?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everyone. I will make my update brief. We have right now about 5 teams that have signed on, and we're working with to finalize logistics for Sunday, October 30th for our Path to Polls activation. This is simply a GOTV caravan through strategic communities, driving traffic to polling sites. Piggybacking off what Benjamin talked about earlier, voter education is really important. And this event truly, even though it's aimed to mobilize, it is also voter education, because what we found in disenfranchised communities is most time those constituents are not even aware that an election is going on. So to help the process, we're working to send a text message out to those target precincts around polling sites like MLK, Paul Lawrence Dunbar. We're working on a polling site that is close to the Fraser Courts. So we're kind of dotting our I's and crossing our T's here to make sure that we can educate them that an election is going on. We'll let them know that we'll be traveling through the community on that day. And then we'll also send a follow-up text message, hopefully with them on Tuesday of election day, just to remind them in case the caravan does not encourage them. One thing we're excited about the caravan this year, outside of the organizations kind of moving more autonomously in this fashion, is that the route will circle itself 7 times. So instead of the one time that we've done in the past, we're hoping that by people seeing us more than once on the same route, that they will, 1, see the symbol of someone going to vote, 2, it will encourage them and help them be motivated and empowered to join us on the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th round that they see us come around. So if you know an organization that wants to adopt a site, please let me know. I'm going to drop my email in the chat, and I can send you our partnership information. It's really easy. It's free to sign up. And we are working on gas cards, $10 gas cards for all participating organization. Our number is 10. So y'all keep your fingers crossed that those gas cards come in, because I feel like that's a great incentive and collateral for people who are volunteering not on their time, but their vehicle. So that's all I have. I see Dr. Levels has a question. I'm ready. Dr. Levels, you're on mute.
That's what happens when you're doing too much. Thank you. Sir, we have two teams where we've identified a north and a south area for the
Okay.
pack the polls on that 30th. And there are 3 precincts around 75 and Lemon, that uptown area, and they have approximately 10,000 registered voters, but their participation has been 4%. So it's 3 different precincts combined right in that area. So we believe we can have a pretty good impact. So we're putting together our route for that area. Our second route will be south, the 20 Wheatland, Camp Wisdom corridor. Again, that area has, I think about 5,000 registered voters. I think it's only 2 precincts there, and they had 4 to 5% voter participation in the last election. So again, an opportunity to have a good impact. So those are the 2 areas that we will parade. The final voting centers have not been released, as all the contracts have not been signed with Dallas County. Once they confirm those voting locations, centers in those 2 areas, we will make that the center of our parade. And so we already have about 20-30 people participating. So
Awesome.
cars participating.
Awesome. And for those who are listening, one thing I like that the Devastating Divas of Delta Sigma Theta have done is they have looked at the propensity of how we can increase voter engagement and turnout. They selected a site in a location where they analyzed that there were registered voters. And so our job is then to encourage those registered voters to then get out and vote. So that's definitely on target to our strategy. And I'm super grateful for the Deltas for doing that research and putting that together as they selected their site. Yeah, we are waiting for Dallas County to approve the sites. Traditionally, MLK is a site, so since the Deltas are not taking that site, I'll put that aside for potentially the Alphas or another organization.
I believe that's going to be a sub parade. I think we'll probably just hit MLK because MLK is our baby, and Sarah Wicks is on the board, and so we would be remiss if we didn't roll through. So if you all want to assign a group, that's fine. We are going to show up anyway. So it'll be our unofficial location, but we know the numbers there as far as registration are not as high as the other, and the participation has been pretty great. When you look at the ratio, the participation to registration in the area, and you compare them to the areas I just shared with you, MLK is not doing bad. And MLK is a voting center. They won't be touched. So,
Right.
But we are just waiting for these churches and schools to agree, because what's happening is a lot of the schools are saying no because of security issues, and some of the churches are saying they don't want to have people voting in their areas either. Some people are going through renovations, so we're waiting for all the agreements to come in to be returned to Dallas County. So that's the issue on the voting centers.
Okay. Well, that's good information to know, and we'll keep working on our end. But that's all I have today, guys. If anyone has any questions, I see Ben. Go ahead. You're on mute.
No, I was going to ask Dr. Levels a question, Ruben. But yeah, Ruben, we got to coordinate and see what we can get the Alphas to do and work on a site. But yes, Dr. Levels, yes. I see that you all picked a site that was, you said there's 4% that actively go vote. Do y'all have any other sites that are out there with similar or like opportunities that I could probably take back to my chapter and be like, look, we need to take this and duplicate what you all are doing in that space?
So you want me to do y'all work?
I don't want you to do our work.
But we know that's that D9 love. And I would be more than happy to share with you some of the higher impact possibility sites and locations, because again, we're trying to have an impact, and so there are some areas that have a greater probability based upon the number of registered voters. So I will send that to you. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll
Thank
email
you.
it to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruben, for that update. If anybody else has any questions, please drop them in the chat. Also, Christy has already started dropping information about upcoming events. While I give my presentation, if you all will continue to do that. But you all, I have some absolutely exciting news. So I am going to share my screen, I think. One of these screens. Okay. So while I'm doing this, I want you all to say hello, Miss Theophilus Sanders. She's one of my latest and newest staff members of CBATES. So I'm super excited to have her on board. And then our political action chair, Miss Karen Hirsch, is on the call. She's doing some double duty today, but she's representing DFW Metro NAACP. So I did want to make sure you all knew that we have representation in the house today. Okay, so listen, most of you have been on board since we rolled out our relational organizing piece. The earlier guests talked about relational organizing, and that I've shared is the same thing we do with our voting ambassador program, where most of our work is transactional, meaning people get out and they register people to vote, they tell them to vote, then they disappear. Relational organizing allows us to maintain a relationship throughout the entire year. For CBATES particularly, which again, CBATES stands for community.
Kristen, I'm sorry. Are you trying to show us something?
You can't see my screen?
We're seeing the screensaver, so we're not seeing what you're
You
trying
don't
to
see a yellow and black screen?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm here for you because I'm paying attention.
Yeah, let's see here. Let's try again. Oh. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am. There we go.
Interesting. Okay, so so you all were on board when I first started the Community Ambassador Program, and remember, we started from scratch. And so with CBATES, Communities Building Attitudes to Encourage Success, my nonprofit organization offers social services. We partnered with an organization to build out this platform and app. And what it does is it allows us not only to engage people during this space in time of GOTV work, but we engage them all year long. So as a participant in our Community Ambassador Program and Relational Organizing platform, we pay each participant a $40 stipend. So they get a debit card. So look, you all get to see the newest debut where people are like, okay, they say they pay me that money. Y'all look up at the top. Y'all see how much money I've earned? So not only are we asking low propensity voters or infrequent voters to be engaged, but we're also sharing a stipend with them that they can use for their cell phone or internet bill. My total actually was like $300, and my son thought my name was ATM. So I had to share my little card with him so he could pay his cell phone bill. So that's why I'm down to 200. But anyway, also being a member of the Community Ambassador Program, they are asked to watch a couple of videos per month. All the videos help us build health, wealth, and power in the community. So all of our videos on the platform fall up under those three categories: health, wealth, or power. So this is an example of just some of the videos. There's a video of John Lewis protesting, your annual checkup, going to the doctor, again up under the umbrella of health, voter ID, blood donations, civic one-on-one meditation, why you should drink enough water, and your credit report, LinkedIn, bank account, so forth on. So there is all of the various videos. That's just some of them. And if you all are involved in a particular organization or something and want to contribute to our library, our video content library, contact me. We do have a separate space where we are engaged in negotiating, providing that space for people to upload information as well. But again, as you see, it does tally. Now you can see how much a person has made. And then I want to see if I can show you all one other thing. Okay. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. So, okay, great. So in the beginning, you all were with me when we first started. As you all see, drum roll, please. I'm super excited. We've made it to our 500 mark, 500 community ambassador mark. And so with our relational organizing, so I want to show you all what relational organizing is. So we can aggregate this data and we can do targeted campaigns. Also, you can see where you see that name, that's my son's name, that's how many people he's recruited. And then this is one of my interns out of Houston. She's on my staff as well. Sean, that's the people that, so it shows you, like the gentleman was explaining earlier, what better person to engage the community and involve people than you, people that you know. So basically this right here, just that's one of my organizers out of Houston. And I thought one of these was Jonathan Morrison. Oh yeah, there's Jonathan. So Jonathan, these are some of the people that he has connected to the, so as we grow this, the beauty of this model for us to utilize this tool is, say we all together collectively, we reach 10,000 people or 1,000 people, just a low number for easy math. Well, that's what we did this particular election season. Well, all we got to do is send them a text and email and continue to engage them. And then the next cycle, we add another 1,000 people. So therefore, we're not having to keep going back to the same group of people and reorganizing them. Once we get them to engage and be a part of this particular platform, we can all collectively send out messaging and continue to engage them and just add to the network. I hope you all understand it, because that's what I'm trying to get you all to understand about this particular tool and why it's so useful to the work that we do. We're continuously going back to the same people instead of going to people and adding to the group of people that we've already made connections with. And again, the beauty of it is each person that participates gets a monthly stipend. So I am available. So that what they do is they watch the videos and then they refer 4 people. If they refer 2 people per month to be a community ambassador, anybody you refer, they also get the stipend. So if you refer 4 people, you get a $40 stipend. So I have been busy the last couple of weeks going to the various universities and high schools, giving a civic engagement presentation. And then after I give the civic engagement presentation, I give the community ambassador presentation. And then I get those that are 18 and over or will be registered to vote. So a couple of you have already booked us within the next week or 2. So thank you for thinking of us and allowing us to serve the community. And if there's anybody else on the call that has access to a group of people, we have someone that contact us from Single Hill, I'm not pronouncing it right. What is it called?
Singing Hills.
Thinking Hills, thank you. Someone has a senior citizen community there that they want us to give this presentation to. We have a couple of people who have Greek organizations that they're booking us to give this presentation to. And we have, again, some people on the call that connected me to a high school and a university. So if you have space and an audience that you would like me to share this information to, again, it's valuable information. It educates, it advocates, and it also provides some change to help them financially in the meanwhile as well. That's the relational organizing piece. Anybody have any questions? I'm sorry. And I want y'all calling me, ask me to pay y'all's bills for my little $200. I'm gonna try to save that $200 for myself. My son already dipped it in my pockets.
I thought we was gonna go out to get something to eat.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to turn it over to Dr. Morrison. She's going to give us an update pertaining to the GOTV work being executed and activated in the Tarrant County community area. Region. If you could unmute Dr. Morrison, thank you. Y'all, I just love Dr. Morrison, if y'all didn't know. We can't hear you. If somebody called you, Dr. Morrison, since we've been on, sometimes that takes the sound. So if you hang up and call right back in, it'll reconnect the audio for us. Okay. While she's reconnecting, if you all have a moment to leave, if you have any announcements that you want to leave, I do see where a couple of people have shared information about National Night Out. We will be with Mountain View with Miss Finley. No, Miss Finley, you're at the other campus, right? No, you're at Mountain View. I'll be at Mountain View with you all. Okay, Dr. Morrison, go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Crystal, for that technical expertise. Good afternoon. I have enjoyed hearing everybody's work, and I really want to emphasize the importance not only of registering the people to vote, but getting them to commit to vote and educating them on how to vote. So that's all very important. Yes, for National High School Voter Registration Day, the Tarrant County Chair is Madison Corzine, who happens to be Miss Juneteenth DFW. And we have issued a challenge, and so I'm going to go ahead and issue it here too. We ask every elected official, and there are approximately 40 African-American elected officials in Tarrant County, to show up at a high school between now and October 11th and engage with the high school seniors to encourage them not only to register, but to give them a real life contact of why it's important that they vote, because they will see someone in person who may be on the ballot. And so we've had great success registering seniors. Initially, from the reports I got, Paul Laurence Dunbar High School was the leader. They registered 42 the first day in cooperation with a Delta and a Kappa kind of corporate event with Jonathan was a part of that. And then they followed up the next day and beat their own numbers. But we're doing that all over the county. The chairman of the board for Crowley ISD is leading the effort in that district and working with BDRs. But it's really important that we take that next step, not only registering people, but explaining why it's so important to register. You know, we've talked about historically the Black. Well, right now we're spread all over. And so that's why we have to use every method we can to connect and keep people engaged as a part of the community, regardless of where they live, because their votes are so critical. So I appreciate the routine effort that Jonathan brings to the effort in all of the VDRs. Here in Tarrant County, Mr. Jimmy Killingsworth has been a person who we can always call on to send us a body to register people at short notice. And the thing is, all of us can be VDRs. And the 20 people that we might register between now and then might be the 20 that carry somebody to victory. So it's not too late to get engaged and to encourage other people to get engaged. So thank you, Crystal, for continually doing this work. Councilman Thomas, thank you for the great work you're doing. And everybody on the call, I'm always so inspired by listening to you all. And so I'm going to look forward to getting that PowerPoint. I'm going to share it with my Business and Professional Women's Club and a couple of the boards that I'm on, and especially the one that I chair. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Morrison. And also in Tarrant County today, I am not going to go into details because I briefly skimmed through the email, but I am so excited to hear that they're going to be meeting today to try to move that election day, I think it is a district-wide holiday for their students to be able to get out and vote and for their schools to be used. Is that correct, Dr. Morrison? Did you hear about that?
I think that's on the agenda for tonight's board meeting. I believe I've been engaged in some negotiation, but I'm not aware of where they are on it.
Yes. So yes, they are meeting today to try to vote to move to have a national, not a national, but a district-wide holiday for the campus, for their students and staff persons to be able to register to vote. And they are doing that today. So I think that is awesome. I also want to share with you all, myself and others in the community are trying to move and hope that Dallas County will allow a polling place to be located at some point in the future at one of our jails, at one of the jails, so people that are incarcerated but yet unconvicted can vote. Houston has already did that. Dallas is one of the largest urban communities in the state of Texas. It makes no sense for us to be left behind. So Houston has taken the lead, and definitely we need to engage the conversation here. We cannot, it would just be ridiculous for us not to start this communication, trying to get that activated in our county. Again, Houston being one of the largest, the absolute largest in the state of Texas, they've already did it. So we've all got to start engaging that conversation to make sure we have polling places in Tarrant County and Dallas County at our jails, that people that are incarcerated but yet not convicted can vote. And that needs to be important. We're on the outside, so we need to advocate for them. We need to fight for them and make sure it takes place. Thank you again, Dr. Morrison. Does anybody
I'll raise that question here and I'll send that to my commissioner right now. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think also one of the discussions, and I don't know if I can go into detail, I'll just mention, and if I say too much, somebody's on the call that'll tell me to shh. But also, I think there's discussion about trying to do the same at some of the local medical facilities, because I myself dealing with Crohn's disease, the times that I've missed an election, I was hospitalized and I didn't have a way to get there. So these are areas that we might not have thought about that are very important, that people that need the right and have the right to vote should have that access. And under temporary circumstances, we're unable to, and I fall in that category, especially having been a patient during an election season, and then speaking on behalf and advocating for those that are incarcerated during that time as well.
I think it is an underserved community that we don't touch. That is the nursing homes. I did a voter registration drive there, and 15 people stopped me to register to vote, the one in South Dallas. So it might be a touch point when I need to coordinate with them again to go through and do a voter registration drive. So if you do have nursing homes in your particular areas, that would be a place where we do need to go. Sure, people are registered to vote. And what we could do is take the white cards and drop them off at the front desk and have the nurses, please pass these out to the individual people and just drop it back off in the mail if you're not able to stay, just so they can have the access to see who wants to register to vote.
Yes, just to come to confirm what Reverend Bates is sharing, that is a conversation going on. We are conversating around those incarcerated and those in medical facilities. We've identified several hospitals that we are looking at in Dallas County, one of them being the largest children's hospital in the country, and one of them being the largest county hospital in the country, along with several others. And so that conversation is happening. So work is, we just need, thank you, Minister Bates, for coming out and in support. And so when you see an invitation to attend some of these public meetings, please come out. You will find out what's being discussed as well. And so, but it takes the public to really support the few of us in the room as we try to make things happen for our residents and for our community. And so, but that is a conversation that I'm really trying to push. And right now there is some momentum. And when we have an update, I will be able to share.
Right. And Reverend Bates, I did see that Tarrant County Commissioners Court announced that they will be offering free rides on the various public transportations for voters who need access to the polls. So I'll have to get more details on that, but I saw that in a quick news release this afternoon.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Morrison and Dr. Levels. And Dr. Levels, we want to thank you for the work that you're doing. When I showed up for that meeting, I thought it was going to be a room full of people. For the large amount of people that we serve, we've got to be present. As she stated, when there are public notices mentioned, I try to be in as many places as my health will permit me to be, but I was quite disappointed to get there and see that I was probably the only one in the audience. For a whole county, that's not acceptable, you all. So if you can get out, those notices are public. They do make share that with the public. Anybody can come. So definitely show up when you can, so you can advocate for the people that we serve. Not just getting out doing GOTV work and hustling, getting voter registration, but we also got to be present during some of these meetings so our voice will be heard as well. Thank you again, Dr. Levels. Okay, so there are some things that have been shared in the chat. Now we have a couple of Greek persons on the call. I have not, and I've gotten bits and pieces, so I was sure that one of you all would clear up the activations that are going on at the state fair this weekend. So if somebody that knows the information, if you could unmute and fill us in, and then if you all will follow with announcements, but you only have 20 seconds, okay? We got to wrap up. So if somebody can share with us what's going on this weekend at the state fair as far as activation goes, and then the rest of you, if you have announcements, if you will follow very quickly. I'm sorry.
This is Chandra Charles, but I just kind of wanted to make sure that in your network that you're communicating with college students. So for example, my youngest daughter is away at LSU. So before she even went to school, we filled out everything in order for her to get her absentee ballot. Now, what I will say is Dallas County system is tied to the Secretary of State's website as far as tracking your ballot. Tarrant County right now, for whatever reason, is not there. So when I called Tarrant County yesterday to communicate that, I said, you know, this was a new House bill, that information should be able to see. And the excuse was given, well, because she's never had an absentee ballot before, it should populate once it's sent out. I said, no, the way this system is designed, you should see it when you receive the request, when the request is approved, when it's mailed out, so forth and so on. So I don't know if Tarrant County is now going to move forward with trying to do something. The Tarrant County system right now does not allow you to track your absentee ballot, whereas Dallas County does. I can't hear you, Krista.
Thank you so much for that, Ms. Charles. Does anybody else have any updates? I appreciate you sharing that, Ms. Charles. Okay.
Hi, this is Christy.
Hi.
Hey, I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm at Mountain View College, and we're having a national night out on next Tuesday from 1 to 4. If somebody wants to come out and, I don't know, give education, information, but if not on that day, you can contact me and we can get you up there any day. Okay, so for anything, so just please contact me. I'll put my email in the chat.
Thank you, Miss Christie. I will be with you all tomorrow. I'm going to go to sleep before the sun goes down. So I'll be with you and Dr. Cobb in her classes on tomorrow. And hopefully Theo and Chandra will be with me. Okay, anybody else? I do see National Night Out is going to be on October the 4th. I know Mountain View is doing tacos and something that day. Christopher Marshall has mentioned UNT Dallas has an event from 6 to 8. Okay. Anybody else? And then Councilman Thomas needs VDRs for Friday. I think they're doing David Whiteman's van, but I thought there was going to be a watch night for the Beto debate Friday. Can you give us clarity, Councilman?
Yes, we're going to do a watch party at 7 down at the airport, but then the concert is right after that. There's going to be a preliminary band that's going to play at 7, but Dave Whiteman band plays at 8. So the VDRs would be for the preliminary band. So if anyone who's a VDR, and what we may do is if someone's willing to be a VDR, we'll get them free admission to the concert that night.
You want to share information as to how people can get tickets and what the cost is for tickets?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll share that link on Our Voters, Our Voices page. It's Eventbrite. You just click it on, and then you can get your tickets right there.
Awesome. Okay. Anybody else? And I do see some new faces. If you did not receive a text message today about our meeting, please, 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 please drop it in the chat so you will be notified of our meetings. Okay. I am going to drop my phone number in the chat for anybody that needs to send me their information to be added to the mass text messaging platform. Okay, if there are no more announcements, I give you all another 3 or 4 seconds to unmute, and we're going to end our call today. If you have not gotten your ticket for the Tatiana Project Gala, it's going to be supporting the STEM students, the students that participate in her STEM program. Please reach out to me so you can contribute by getting a table or a ticket for the gala. I need somebody and everybody on this call to reach out to me so we can get these tables sold and the tickets sold for the Tatiana Jefferson Project Gala, which will be October the 9th. Okay.